What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on all so you get notified of all the latest content as and when it drops on the channel. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into this one. So, after Saturday night's fight, there's been a lot of talk on who Dereck Chisora should fight next after his victory over Joe the Juggernaut Joyce. And it was a good victory. It was an impressive fight and everything. And you could tell that he's getting old in there, but there's still fight left in him. So in the immediate aftermath, we had Dillian Whyte, who was around ringside. I think he went to the dressing room of Dereck Chisora to congratulate him. You had Alexander Usyk in the dressing room too, going around congratulating Dereck Chisora, kind of bigging him up. And I think he deserves that. He deserves his plaudits. And now there's a lot of talk on who he should fight next. And one of those candidates, one of the people who seems very, very keen and enthusiastic on it, is Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. Dillian Whyte. So he's come around, and even in the arena on the Saturday, he was going directly to Frank Warren, I think, and saying, yeah, I want to fight the donkey, I want to fight the war horse. He said he's not a donkey no more, he's a war horse, and I want to fight him next. So Dereck Chisora, from my understanding, has said, yeah, that's fine, let's go. And for me personally, I think that's a good option for Dereck Chisora, because the way Dillian Whyte's looked in his last fight was pretty poor. And he's been out of action again for a while now, and all those allegations he's had, but his performance-wise, he's looked quite poor. So I think it is a pretty even fight, and I think as much as you would say, oh, Dillian Whyte's got the two victories over Dereck Chisora, I mean, I think the first one was a bit controversial. You could have given Dereck Chisora the first one. The second one was not controversial because as much as Chisora was up on the cards, Dillian Whyte knocked him spark out. So you can't have any dispute about that. That just is what it is. Once you get knocked out, you get knocked out. But yeah, you could say Chisora's got unfinished business there. This is a man he's been in the ring with twice. He hasn't been able to beat, but he's looked to have the beating of Dillian Whyte in those fights. Those fights have been close. Those fights have been hard. They've been wars. So it's a winnable fight, big time for Dereck Chisora. And I think at this stage, mainly because of the punch resistance of Dillian Whyte being, severely diminished, at least in my opinion. I think his punch resistance is pretty bad, and he gets wobbled quite easily. I think it's just due to the wars he's had and some of the bad losses, the knockout losses he's had. His punch resistance has kind of gone. And I think Chisora as well, he can be wobbled, he can be hurt, but he seems a little bit more sturdy than Dillian Whyte, at least when it comes to being able to hold a shot or take a shot. So I think going into that fight, if that happens, I think it's brilliant. I think the fans, the people will buy into it. I would buy into it. I'd want to see it. And it would be a good sort of fight going towards a farewell. I don't know whether it would be the one in Manchester or the one in Africa where he's going to take that. But yeah, I think it's a good match for Dereck Chisora because you're fighting a guy who you're vulnerable, but this guy's also vulnerable. And I think it's a winnable fight for Dereck Chisora. I think Dereck Chisora, he's won his fight against Joe Joyce, and he could beat Dillian Whyte at this stage. I think they're similar levels, similar stages of their career, and it's a 50-50 fight for me. But I think that Chisora, if Dillian Whyte stands there and allows, if he fights Dereck Chisora up close and personal, and at close range, then I think Dereck Chisora definitely can win this one. But anyway, we'll see what happens. And other names that have been popping up have been Johnny Fisher, and he said it would be an honor to share the ring with Dereck Chisora. I think that would be an interesting fight too. because Johnny Fisher, he's a prospect, but he's not like a world level or world class fighter. He's a guy that's sort of on his way up. He's a decent domestic level fighter, but he hasn't really proven himself as yet, so that would be interesting. There's other names like Deontay Wilder, that was a name I thought of, and I think, yeah, that would be a fight that I would be interested in seeing, because it's one of these where Deontay Wilder, yes, years ago you would have thought, oh, this is terrible, this is dangerous for Dereck Chisora and whatnot. But now I'm thinking Deontay Wilder seems to be scared to throw a punch in the ring. He seems like the punch resistance might have waned a little bit, but more than that, Deontay Wilder just doesn't seem to be able to pull the trigger. So I think, looking at that as a fight, I think as much as Dereck Chisora's kind of on his last legs, I think he could beat someone like Deontay Wilder simply because of the last performances. And I think with Deontay Wilder more or less not throwing punches anymore, he's just holding back. He releases like a punch around or something. And I think someone like Chisora may be able to just swarm him and just get, be all over him, and Chisora might even be able to take him out, because he just seems to be a shell of himself, Deontay Wilder. I mean, he's never really been a high volume guy, but he's always had that right hand cocked and ready, and he'll still throw a jab and try to set up the right hand and stuff. And there was a bit more activity earlier in his career, but I think now he's just totally finished. He's shot to bits, as we say in the UK. And I think that would be a good name to have on his resume. But I don't know whether it happens or not. I don't know. But I think the Dillian Whyte fight, as I said in the beginning, that's the most realistic one, because Dillian Whyte will be up for it. I think, Dereck Chisora will have no problem with it, because he just loves to fight. So, let me know your thoughts on this. Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora possibly being his next fight in Manchester. So let me know your thoughts, and until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out.